a role that wasn't going to be challenged as your mother passed away. And it's a little different scenario, but at the same time, the children's perspective isn't different. And so the second book addresses the issue of every time Luke was in one household, he was going to miss out on things in the other household. And these are situations that the adult needs to be sensitive about. The child isn't asked to live in two different homes. You had a different situation, obviously. But every time I share about this series, and the third book is about my not-so-wicked stepmother's having my baby brother, and then so on and so forth, as you can see. But the first one, the first children's book, it's really a coffee table book for the stepmother. And I want to share with you, here your stepmother fell in love with your daddy, and she fell in love with the man of her dreams. And in order to be with the man that she loved, she accepted, I'm speaking for her, I don't know the reality of her situation, you and your sister, she accepted his children as her own. Now, the challenge is society doesn't want to affirm her in that or give her that credit. The children are like, whoa, you're not my mom. But at the same time, the stepmother is like, but I am. I want to love you as my own. Not like my own, but as my own. And so there's so many battles and hurdles, whether the bio mom has passed away or still living. I've heard story after story after story. Someone wrote me, my biological father had an affair. So I want to hate that woman. So there's so many issues as to how the blended family was formed. And, one of the healthiest perspectives that we can take as parents is that it's adult situations are not the children's. They're not the children's problems. They're not the children's baggage. The children don't have to carry the adult issues on their shoulders. The healthiest thing we can do for our children is to love them where they're at and say, well, this is our family now, regardless how it was formed, not being insensitive to a death, as I said before, but just this is our home now, and in that home, the stepmother should want a healthy environment, not a toxic environment. So whenever you're loving that child, to show the child my first book, it really helps explain to the child, here I was, a little girl, growing up dreaming of love, and the one thing I knew I would never be, one of my pages says, there was always a problem, something always amiss. Life was no fairy tales full of childhood bliss. I could relate to the first part of stories of old, poisoned apples, rejection, and spells of a toad. And it goes on, Cinderella and Snow White stirred up my imagination. I would never be a stepmother who caused agitation. Stepmothers were jealous, cruel, cold, and mean. I wept when I thought of how heartless they seem. So all of us grow up, honestly, Ted, and who dreams of growing up and becoming a stepmother? And to read this to your child, I don't care if your child is a teenager or 24 or 27 or 35, and you've already botched the relationship, this book can be a catalyst to healing and love. And the child, the stepchild, regardless of the age, can say, wow, yeah, you don't dream of growing up and being a stepmother. You don't dream of growing up and having infertility problems and becoming an adoptive mom. Or you don't dream of, I was a foster mother. My brother passed away and left me his daughter. And there are many challenges there. But my focus was to keep the children healthy, keep this child healthy. And bringing my niece into the family, we all know when you bring a wounded bird into the nest, you can wound the other birds. So as a mother, a biological mother, a stepmother, and a foster mother, soon to be adoptive mother, we adopted her and went through that process, I've experienced all society's attitudes towards every one of those roles that I played. When I became a stepmother, I experienced, are you mean? How'd that come about? The judgment, instant judgment, or shunning, or teachers not validating me as a mom and only wanting to talk to my husband instead, or whatever it was. When I became a biological mother, I was like the blessed mother. Oh, you're a mom, totally different attitude. When I became a foster mother to my niece and in the process of adopting her, everyone was affirming me. Oh, you're amazing. you're taking on this child. And I'm like, wait a second. Because I'm the auntie and not the stepmother, all of a sudden I'm getting gifts and cards and validation, and it's honorable. So over the years, the last 20 years, I've experienced how society looks at all these different roles. And it became, I'm a former junior high school teacher. I'm a child advocate. I love kids. And it became a desire of mine to change the world's viewpoint of stepmothers being wicked all the time. My husband's former teammate was over, and he had 4 children in his first marriage and was divorced and had a new wife who had never had any children. And so there she has all his older 4 kids. And the young 18-year-old was having dinner with us, and he started laughing when he heard about my book. And he goes, that's awesome. He goes, 95% of the questions people ask me about my stepmom is she mean? Is she mean? And I thought that's really funny because when your auntie's taking care of a child, no one says, oh, is she mean? When grandmama is taking care of a child or adopted, no one says, is she mean? So really the first book, Wicked Not All Stepmothers Are Wicked, is a whimsical children's story depicting the stepmother as a little girl and her dreams and visions and then falling in love with this man and he had a little child. What's she going to do? What's she going to do? So that's, and she overcomes a lot of things with the child, as you heard on the morning show. But many stepmothers that have read my book just start crying. Parents who, everyone, regardless if they're married, divorced, never married, separated, everyone knows someone with a blended family. Half of all our marriages end in divorce. 29 million of our Americans today are step-parents. And 2,100 blended families are formed a day. 1 million children will experience divorce a year. It's time to start focusing on these kids. They didn't ask for it, love them, and, not dump our adult perspectives and garbage on them. Anyway, do you have a question?
So true.
I could go on and on and on.
No, and that's great, and that's the beautiful thing about it. And what we try to do here at Late Night Parents is give folks like yourself that forum, so that not just tonight, if there's any specific week, you want to come on and you want to talk about whatever, or you want to talk about the within the series, the next chapter in your, with your books, you're welcome to come on here and talk about this, because it's all about families. It's all about families and building families, and like you said, the conventional family, the son and the daughter with the mom and the dad and the white picket fence. That's not the norm. We like to say it's the norm.
Not. And I felt like whenever I met my husband, and he was a single father and had never married my son's mom, and Luke was 3, so see, I had an advantage as well. He was so little, he didn't know what was going on, and I felt like over the years, as my brother was dying, he actually didn't die of cancer complications, but the chemo and radiation had scarred his lungs, so it was like an emphysema almost, but it was cancer-related issues. As it took him 9 years before he went to the Lord, and I felt like, had I not had a blended family to begin with, I may not have eased into or been all arms open and ready to receive his daughter.
Right.
I could have been like, I have, 2 perfect children and a beautiful, perfect marriage, and I can't have another child that's not my own. I just felt like God laid the groundwork that I always had an extra child in my house. I'm a godmother to many children. We're very faith-based. Steve Weatherford, he has 3 children and a 4th on the way, and my husband and I are godparents to all 3 of his children.
Yes.
And I just felt like I was so blessed that Luke was in my life. He has transformed me and shaped me as a mother, as an individual, as a woman, as a wife. I have my life, and I would not be who I am today, nor my husband, if Luke were not in our lives. And I just love him so much, and we're very, very, very close. And I've never, ever, ever considered him my stepchild. I just wanted to embrace him as my own, and I was criticized and judged for that. And but in the end, ultimately, it was his foundation, and it gave him self-esteem and confidence. He knew he was beloved by everyone in our home. And that's why he is a part owner in this project and 100% on board, because he wants a voice too. You know, he wants to tell the world it's okay to love your stepmother. It's okay. Just an extra person to love, like an auntie or a grandmother.
So Holly, I got to ask you this question. I mean, and it's more a rhetorical question. So at what point? So the rhetorical question of the moment is: so at what point, when you fell in love, you guys were married, and you fell in love with your husband, and that's his son. That becomes your son.
Yes,
I mean, it's, to me, it's as easy as can be, but it's I don't know, and I'm not sure about the fact that where's the divide, because
I'll tell you, it's
okay.
Adults sharing their issues with the kids. It's completely inappropriate. So I fell in love. We fell in love. We all got married, and he was happy as can be. And then poison would seep into the well when he would bring home information from other sources that would be angry or condemning or hostile, that this household does it this way, or this household, but it was always the stepmom gets blamed for everything, or it's poison from adults that give their opinions to the children instead of allowing them to love everyone. And so then they're conflicted, and then that's in the second book. And their sense of, oh my gosh, one of the lines in my second book is, as I looked into her face, my face, Luke wonders aloud, it's from his perspective, is it wrong to love her too? Will she take my mom's place? But the reality is, I'm the mommy of this house. I'm his little brother's mommy. Right. I'm his little sister's mommy. I'm mommy. And the healthiest thing to do is you line them all up and brush their teeth, and you line them all up and lecture them, and you line them all up and you feed them. You treat them all the same. If you walked into my house, in fact, during this project, since we launched this project, so many people have said to me, you're not a stepmother. If you walked into my house, you would never know I had a stepchild. If I have gigantic pictures of one, I have gigantic pictures of the other. It's you love them all the same. You have to. That's healthy. That's good. That's what kind of household we want. But so as the years progress, my conflicts and trials and frustrations came not from within my family unit, but from outside influences that misjudged, or criticized, or Luke for loving this family unit.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
And so I imagine your story must be a little bit different, because unless your stepmother was competing against, per se, I have a friend who is a stepmother to a widower, or to his daughter, and I think she always felt she was battling the perfect mother who had passed away. Did your stepmother have that experience?
I would say she had that experience with my older sister. Yes.
Yeah, girls.
I would say, and it was just always some type of conflict.
Mm-hmm.
And,
but here's the deal. It's natural to have conflict with your children. I have a little girl. She's almost 15. She'll be 15, Kiki, January 31st at the end of this month. And there's conflict being a mom or dad regardless.
Right.
And so with the wicked image, we're told we're beautiful our whole lives, right? Oh, you're so beautiful, you're so beautiful, you're so this, you're so that. You get married, you inherit a title that basically equates ugly. And if stepmama gets angry with stepdaughter, stepson, it's not a righteous anger as a typical mom would feel. It's, I'm the wicked stepmother. I'm not allowed to be angry. But yes, we are. Moms get angry. Dads get angry. We have to discipline. If we love our children, we will discipline them. We will give them guidelines. But it has to be after. When my husband and I get angry with any of our children, we sit down, we talk. This is what went wrong. This is what you did. This is what's not appropriate, and we love you. And so you always have to conclude your whatever little teeny tiny trials. But girls are hard. They go through their little stage, and boys